Okay, welcome to another episode of Conversations with Neighbours. We got a special one today, one of my favorite people, MPP Dawn Gallagher Murphy. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Myles, and happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah.
And we're going to dive into a lot that has happened throughout the year. But before we get into those specific initiatives, it was a big year because you were reelected. Talk to me about what did it mean to be reelected and just the feeling towards that.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for having me. And yes, really, that was the start of 2025. We didn't know we were going to be going into an election, and a lot of things worldwide changed a lot in North America, changed a lot between Canada and the US. And that's what drove an election here in Ontario. It was my second election, and I have to say, doing an election in the winter month, and of course, of all times, February was one of the coldest and the most snow we've had in a long time. But you know what? We endured, we persevered, and I'm very excited, very thankful to the people of Newmarket, Aurora, for giving me this opportunity to continue to represent them, and be their voice at Queen's Park. And I've been so privileged to be able to take this on once again for them.
Love that. And obviously, when it's election time of it, you're really out in the community, even in those winter months, knocking on doors, talking to the people. And I know that you had a great support team around you too, to kind of help get the word out there, even in the winter time of February, right?
Yes, you know what? Good point, because I got to tell you, my team, the volunteers, and these are volunteers, people willing to come out in minus 20 degrees Celsius to knock on doors and spread the word. And I couldn't be more humbly thankful for them, number one. But number two, which is interesting, when it was really cold outside and we had so much snow and it was blowing and nobody could get out and drive, those were the best days to knock on doors, because you know what? Everybody was at home. Now, it's funny because most days I could knock on at least 100, 120 doors, but those couple of days where it was really stormy, maybe 50 doors at the most. But I'm telling you, those conversations with people were the best, because people wanted to talk about what was going on in our community, but across the province as well.
Yeah. And, it's something that you have always continued on, and I think that people really notice is how out in the community you are. I think that's a staple of kind of who you are and what you do. So I want to talk about some of these community events that went on throughout the year. I'd love to start with the Seniors Expo. I know this is a big part of it. And
Yes.
so talk to me about the Seniors Expo, what stood out this year, and everything that goes behind that.
Thank you, because I actually have two Dawn Gallagher Murphy events that I put on every year. And the Seniors Expo starts off in the month of June. And that also goes hand in hand with the fact that I had a motion that, it was a bill, a private member's bill, that received royal assent over a year ago to officially proclaim the month of June as Seniors Month in this great province of Ontario. So, of course, I put on this expo, our second annual, even better than the first one. We had just over 20 different local service providers. We had speakers talking about how seniors can stay safe when it comes to cybersecurity, things like that, fall prevention. So it really was an opportunity for our seniors to be educated, to connect with one another. Providing free tea, coffee, scones, and things like that also brings out the crowd, which I love. And I love that they hang out there for a few hours to listen to the educational sessions. And a lot of people are very appreciative because they don't know what's all available in our community. So this is a great opportunity for seniors to connect, and for me also to hear from them what their concerns are or where the opportunities are for our community.
Yeah, obviously such a important group in our community, right? And a growing group as well too. You think of, the baby boomer generation. We've never had this big of a cohort of people
Yes.
entering into older age. And just to be out there to support seniors as well, and then educate them, and then as well, like the whole community engagement to
Yes.
rally around them too. It's a great event.
Absolutely. And what I always say to people, seniors are the ones who have built up our communities. So we need to be there for them in their senior golden years to help them as much as we possibly can. And I truly believe this Seniors Expo helps to do that.
Yeah.
But besides that, I also have my community barbecue.
Another huge event. I think it's like the buzz of the town when it comes up.
Yes,
So yeah,
yes.
talk to me about the community barbecue.
More and more people are coming out and are kind of getting expected what they can expect when they come out. And why it's so important is because it's not only an opportunity for me to connect one-on-one with community members, but it's a time to bring our community together. And that's what we do best in Newmarket, Aurora. I truly believe we are one of the most inclusive communities in all of Ontario. And I love it because this is indeed an opportunity to bring families out. The kiddies get the face painting. We had Spider-Man and we had Elsa roaming around. It was great for the kids. It was just a fantastic time. The DJ playing music helps. And of course, the barbecue with the hamburgers and the hot dogs. That's always well received. And I think we were well over 500 people this year.
Yeah, just like an event like that really shows how connected and engaged, your riding is. And to see them really come out and all come together for this great event year after year, it's always cool to kind of just see it in real life, right?
Yes, and I think everybody's getting used to when I put them on, both the Seniors Expo and the Community Barbecue, because it's always the last Sunday of September.
Yeah, I love those. And, obviously a big part of your job is, you're out doing like the real work, the advocacy, and then bringing it into the community and like making it real, right? And I want to take some time to talk about those and some of those investments that you work to build out and then bring them into the community, because obviously that's going to be super, super important.
Yeah.
So let's touch on some of the healthcare investments that you've
Yes.
kind of brought back on
Yes.
in that.
Thank you, because that really drives me is the advocacy piece, because that is my role, is to be that advocate for our community, make sure our voice is heard, and healthcare is one of the top priorities. And when I say healthcare, there's a couple of things. Number one, well, actually, there's three things when it comes to healthcare for us here in Newmarket, Aurora. First off is Southlake Hospital. As everybody knows, we've been planning for a new hospital. That's been in the planning works for some time. But at the end of the day, we have to keep that hospital going. And there's so many different needs of the hospital now in its planning stage for the next phase. However, I'm proud to say that through advocacy, over $46 million have come into Southlake Health. And that it covers various things from the hospital operations to the psychiatric services to the diagnostic operating services, as well as emergency care. And these are all important things for our community. Now, above and beyond that, mental health. As everybody knows, I'm a big supporter of ensuring that mental health is top priority, because mental health is health. And if we don't have that, we don't have healthy people. So the York Region Mental Health and Community Care Center, that one was actually announced back in 2024. And I'm proud to say that this past year we announced over $1 million to help with the startup costs for that facility. So if anybody's driving along Yonge Street, right across from the York Region Admin building, you will see the old thrift store. It's under construction. Well, that's going to be our new mental health and community care center. Now, the third one that I'd like to raise is primary care. I've heard from constituents that they've had a hard time connecting with a primary care provider. Well, our government did commit to a $2.1 billion investment to ensure that all Ontarians who are not connected with a primary care provider will be covered by 2029. In our community alone, I was greatly appreciating a moment where I could announce over $850,000 to create a new family care center for Newmarket, Aurora that will connect up to 2,300 of our residents right here. So I'm very excited about that. They are right now open and they are servicing more and more people. So if you are looking for a primary care provider and you're listening to this podcast, please, I'll put the phone number in the content there so you can give them a call.
Yeah, I love that. These are all like such important things, as the community grows and expands too. And you think of like Southlake and, obviously it's a pillar of our community and so important and touches so many lives. As you're kind of reading those out, I'm thinking of like all the different experiences that even I personally had with the hospital too. I'm like, my kid's first birthday was this year. So I'm thinking of last year going through that whole experience and how great everyone was there.
Yeah.
And then right before his first birthday, he was sick and we had to go to Emerge. Obviously, it's a very scary time. You got a 11-month-old baby and it's like going there. And the whole process was so great and it's obviously a very difficult situation trying to handle like all this volume, especially in sick time of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And then even touching on the mental health, earlier this year, I had someone that was around me that was kind of having a mental health episode. And it was like, where do we go with this, right? And there wasn't really a clear answer. And now to know that the building blocks are kind of being put out there to have that space available, because I'm pretty sure that they're going to have like all the different type of aspects under mental health. So whatever direction it's going in.
Yes, people will actually be able to walk themselves. They can be referred by a doctor. The police could bring somebody there if they're going through a mental health crisis, as well as the paramedics. And they will have up to 10 beds where people could stay overnight. And these are short term. This is not for long term, but they will be open 24/7 and they will have the services people need. And then they'll have wraparound services. So when you leave, you know exactly what your next step is, who's going to be caring for you.
Yeah, just to have like that spot that's like that bridge, right? Because obviously it's in like crisis time where you don't really know what's going, like what direction to go. And then to have kind of the surrounding support around it, it's going to be so key. Yes. And then on the primary care, it's obviously so important to have that and kind of to build the support to make sure everyone has a primary caregiver. And I even think of like all the ones that are going to be retiring too and what's feeding underneath that as, again, the communities continue to grow and expand too. These are all very, very important issues.
Absolutely. And we've been making investments into more medical schools because we need more seats. We want doctors trained here and staying here to be able to practice. And really, primary care, that's your first step to the healthcare system. So it's so important that we have a strong system. So I'm very proud of what we've got going on right here in Newmarket, Aurora.
Yeah. And then this can lead us into another very important issue, which is housing, homelessness, vulnerable people in the community and everything that goes in around that. And, you've been very vocal about supporting these individuals. And so what type of investments are you proud of in that area? Because I know that's something that you deeply care about.
Yes, thank you. Well, in 2025, I'm very proud of a new funding model the province put out, and it's called the Last Mile Funding. And leading up to 2025, there's been a couple of initiatives in our community where I kept looking to see how can we help finalize the final bit of funds that they need to get them to, how shall I say, close up on the gap that they had. So I'm happy to say that the Blue Door Gorham Street project, very happy to say that $2.3 million went to that project, which is the final amount of funding they needed to be able to move forward with the building of the new project that they are having there. And it's going to be transitional housing, 14 units, in fact, so much larger than their current space. I drove by there not too long ago, and it's moving. Yeah. They are digging, and it's happening. So it's amazing to see that these initiatives and the advocacy, and then you see the actual work on the ground to build this up. Another one is In From the Cold. As everybody is aware, In From the Cold does such great work in the community with their shelter, but they also want transitional housing too, because that's important. Once people are stable and then they get a job, they need that help to transition them into eventually getting their own apartment. Well, In From the Cold is building right now on Yonge Street. I'm excited when I drive by there because that building is almost entirely up. But that was another 630,000 that our government invested there. Why that was important too is because now that closed their final gap. So both of these locations, they're building with no debt now. No debt whatsoever. So that's amazing. And then I was excited just not too long ago. I think it was about maybe a month ago. I announced with In From the Cold another $170,000. And that's specifically through the Ontario Trillium Fund Capital Grant Program. And that's to make the building fully accessible.
Yeah.
So they'll have an elevator, they'll have a washroom that's fully accessible. And that's important because we want to ensure all our communities members are fully have a space that's fully accessible.
Yeah, it's like thinking of those details, right? Like accessibility upgrades to make it available for everyone too, right? So important. A lot of times those things can get overlooked because you're dealing with such big problems that you're trying to find solutions for, but really just thinking about the whole picture and dialing every single element of it is so obviously important.
Yeah.
And we want to create safe and stable housing for individuals and, have short-term and long-term solutions that are available for them too.
Absolutely.
As we go through, what a busy year, right? It's just so many because
we're not finished
yet. And I'm thinking like leading into kind of the next big topic is infrastructure and growth planning because, as we talk about these communities that continue to grow and, they're so vibrant and connected and people want to be here, right? Well, that comes with a lot of planning, right?
Yes.
And a lot of investment that needs to be made so infrastructure can kind of stick with the growth. So let's talk about some investments in that area too for Newmarket and Aurora.
Yes. Very important because, as you said, without the critical infrastructure like roads, bridges, we can't have our town operating properly for people to get around and to be able to build. So back in 2021, our government announced the Ontario Community Infrastructure Fund. So I was able to announce just, I guess, about 6 weeks ago or so for Newmarket and Aurora, $6.1 million. Now, this is important because it is for their critical infrastructure needs. And I'm proud to say that since 2021, when this fund was initially announced by our government, our area, Newmarket Aurora, has received over $34 million to help with their critical infrastructure. So when you see bridges being repaired in our town, or when you see roads being repaired, or their water systems, etc., that's thanks to this government funding. And I am pleased to have continued to advocate for that funding to come into our Newmarket Aurora.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that, the residents you're not really thinking about because it's infrastructure, right? And you're just going on your everyday life. You live, work, and play in the community, but there's really these big projects, these really big foundational things that need to happen for everything to run smoothly. And obviously, you being the advocate for that and making sure that our community gets what it needs as we continue to grow is obviously super important, right?
Yes. And that's my job. And that's what I'm proud to be doing. And it takes commitment and it takes working within government.
Yeah.
It's not just standing up at question period or standing up during, a speech. It means really talking to people, talking to different ministers. What can I do to help my community and how can they help me? achieve the goals that I want. So, another thing, I'm going to just kind of throw this in while we're talking about infrastructure, because I'm proud to say that I had a motion that I'd been working on for almost a year, and it has to do with the communal water wastewater systems. Now, I want to talk about that now since we're talking about infrastructure, because a lot of people say, well, why would you put that out there? My last motion was on artificial intelligence, the transparent, ethical use of AI in government. My first bill was on Seniors Month. So I was like, okay, so how do you connect this one in? Well, you know what? Infrastructure is critical. When I knock on doors, people are saying, how is my son or daughter going to buy a house in our community, right? So one of the things that through my research, I found out one of the big cost items is related to water and wastewater access. We have a capacity issue here in York Region, specifically in Northern York Region. There's a huge project going on right now. It's going to cost a lot of money and it's going to take a lot of time. So what do we do in the interim? Well, I found out about all this great new technology for communal wastewater systems can deliver clean water at a fraction of the cost. It's really meant for small rural communities, but that includes us here in Northern York Region. So I'm proud to say that that motion to modernize the approval process related to communal wastewater systems, it received 100% support across all parties. So I'm proud to say, actually, the three private members business initiatives that I put forward since I've been elected, all three have received 100% support across all parties.
That's amazing. That's clearly a good signal that you're working on the right stuff, right? And the important things that really matter to the community, which can even lead to this next one, which is kind of skills development, right? The world is forever changing quickly, right? And being on top of job skills, workforce development is crucial for the community to kind of have the tools and resources available to kind of help in this transition mode as the world continues to change. So what do we see in this year in terms of skills training and workforce development? I know you did a lot of important work. So
yes, thank you. Well, and this is an important one because when we talk about protecting Ontario, it's about protecting Ontario workers. It's making sure that they have the skill sets needed for today, tomorrow, into the future, and to earn those bigger paychecks. Well, I'm proud to say through the Skills Development Fund training stream, we've had $3.8 billion come into Newmarket, Aurora over this past year. So I'm quite proud of that. That is through STEM Minds, Aurora, so a local business, and they partnered with Boreal Farms, and it's actually to get youth and adults alike the skill sets for sustainable farming.
yeah,
And imagine, this is STEM Minds Aurora who started this initiative. So I'm very proud of them, as well as Fair Chance Learning, who is located on Main Street, downtown Newmarket. I'm so proud of their program as well because they work on micro-credentialing for people to upskill their computer skills, which is so important in today's day and age. You need to have those skill sets, and they've got great outcomes. So I'm very excited about the results coming out of that $3.8 million investment right here in Newmarket, Aurora.
yeah, it's creating real pathways into kind of careers. It's so important. And we actually had a chat with STEM Minds and the farms, and I was like blown away with how they're thinking about it, what they're working on too, and pretty like really focusing in on that industry, which could be such a rich industry if you think of Ontario, if you think of Canada too, and then as well with all the skills and technology to actually make it, a thriving business.
Yes.
They got some exciting stuff that they're working on. Yeah.
Between Anu and Brandon, my God, they are breaking barriers left, right, and center when it comes to sustainable food business. That's for sure.
Yeah, they definitely paint a nice vision that you can actually become a reality, which was super, super cool. Um, Obviously, safety is a
Yes.
important part of strong communities, right? What kind of steps in that area, community safety, were you a part of this year in 2025?
Well, thank you. And this is an important one because I've held two community safety town halls now. One in 2024 in Aurora, and the other one this past year in 2025 in Newmarket. Both of them well attended. And some of the things that I heard from community members is they want CCTV cameras around. They feel safer when they're around. So I am proud that through some strong advocacy, especially coming out of that 2024 community safety town hall I put on, we managed to get 255,000 to support CCTV cameras in our Newmarket, Aurora, York Region area. Now, I'm proud to say that this technology, it's not, people ask me, oh, well, it's Big Brother watching you. I was like, no. What this is about is that these cameras, they can track stolen vehicles. So when a car goes by, automatically they track the license plate. If that's a stolen vehicle, boom, the alarms go off. The police can go to that area. They're dispatched to that area because the likelihoods of somebody being in a stolen vehicle, of them committing a crime in our community is huge. So if we can stop them in right there and then, we can prevent crime. So it also serves as a deterrent as well. So I know our community members are extremely happy about this initiative, and I will advocate to get more and more of these CCTV cameras around our Newmarket, Aurora area.
Yeah. Obviously, you're always going to get the people of like Big Brother watching you, but the reality is like all the data is there of like when you have these kind of cameras set up in place that crime goes down. Ring Camera, which was this huge business, when they went into neighborhoods, they worked directly with the police. And when more people had it, the crime rates went down. So it's just clear that it works.
Yes.
So they're not watching you unless you're doing something bad. So, and I know supporting survivors has been another big a big item for you too. So talk about the investment in that world, kind of the organizations that you've worked with, and how important that is, obviously.
Yes, thank you. And that really means a lot to me because our government came out with the action plan to end gender-based violence. And this program supports local organizations because who knows best how to support community members who are going through these massive challenges within their families or within their communities. It's the local organization. And we've got 3 great local organizations who we supported this past year with over $1.5 million. That went to Go Thrive Go, Bridge North, as well as Abuse Hurts. And I have to say, all 3 organizations were so well deserving. I know they're going to put such great use to these funds because it's going to be used to help educate. It's going to be used to help the survivors. So, yes, preventative, but also helping the survivors how to get back on their feet and really live the full life that they need to be and want to be living.
Yeah, and again, a lot of the time residents aren't aware of these organizations and the important work that they do. Obviously, with Neighbor Media, we're involved with a lot of them. And then when you're actually hearing the stories and all the work that they do, and like the importance of it cannot be stated higher of how important it really is. So, and they need support too, right? They need support to be able to do the work that they do and continue to help, right?
Absolutely. They make a difference in people's lives every single day.
Yeah. Okay, I want to talk about this historic Francophone thing that
Yes.
went down. Please give me the details of it, because I know you're super proud of it. And so, yeah, tell me about it.
Well, this is something I've been working on for a while. And as most people know, I also parle français. And I'm proud to work within our Francophone community here in York Region. And there's a specific group who's located in our riding in Aurora, Communauté du Trill Blanc. And they had a great initiative to build a long-term care home specific for Francophones. So I'm proud to say that this past year, our government has sold the surplus land over at Bloomington and Yonge Street area, and that has been sold to the Communauté du Trill Blanc. They have also received a license from the Ministry of Long-Term Care to construct a home with 160 beds that will accommodate a home for up to 160 people, Francophone speaking. However, it doesn't necessarily have to be Francophone speaking, but the ideal world is that this is going to become a communauté, un village, si vous voulez, if you would like, a Francophone village. So it will have indeed the long-term care home. It will have housing. It will also have recreation space as well. So it will be for Francophones and Francophiles. I like to say I'm a Francophile. In any case, I'm very excited about this. The project will take a few years to build, but they've got the land now, and very excited about that.
Yeah, it's so great. It's like all these things where you need to have future thinking, right? These things take time to do it, but everything has to start, right?
Yes.
To build foundations, to bring investment into it, to actually see it. Good things take time, right?
Yes.
And that's why these are so key to making it happen, right?
Yes.
To making them start, right?
Yes.
We can't be like in a decade from now where we have all this infrastructure and we have all these things and all these elements without that important work that happens throughout a year, right?
Exactly. And one thing I'd love to throw in there, because this is the Ministry of Long-Term Care, to which I am the parliamentary assistant. And just a week ago, I was with the minister to announce further supports for culturally appropriate long-term care spaces. Now, why this is important? Because of the fact that our province, in fact, we have over 110 different ethnic groups living in this province right now. So if you think about that, as people age, what happens? They resort back to their primary language. So this is why having a Francophone home so appropriate. We're building the one I made an announcement at with the minister last week was a Polish home. So it's interesting. I'm proud that we are a government who's supporting that, because you know what? We need to support our seniors as they live, and they are living longer. So we have to make sure that we can provide them high quality homes where they feel comfortable.
Yeah. And, obviously Newmarket, Aurora, we're so diverse, right, of who makes up of our community. Like, how does that show up for you throughout the year? There's all these different culture celebrations that you get to attend and kind of within the community, talk about that, what that's like in this diverse community that we live in.
Well, that's perfect segue talking about the ethnic groups because, yes, during the year we have all kinds of events that go on, and I'm happy to participate and support all of them, from the Chinese New Year to Black History Month to the Holi festival. And I have to say, I've continued working with the Hindu community, and they have so many different festivals that happen throughout the year. To the York Pride as well. I'm a big supporter of our LGBTQ community. Emancipation Day, the Run for Southlake, the Iftar dinner, Rosh Hashanah. The other day I was just at the Hanukkah lighting of the menorah in Aurora and Newmarket. All of these are groups who should be celebrated because, like I said, over 110 different ethnic groups living in this province. We want to celebrate everyone. It's an opportunity to learn about one another. So those are things that I love being involved in.
Yeah. And as well, too, you're always, you're the big supporter of the local voices within the community. That goes from visiting businesses as well too, holding skilled trade roundtables and
Yeah.
kind of talking to the business community as well
Yes.
too, and hearing their thoughts, concerns, what they need. So
Yes.
talk about those visits, what you get from it. I know it's important to you
Yes.
with the business community as well. So
Absolutely. Well, with the businesses, it's important for me to understand what's going on, especially with all the tariffs that we've been experiencing. So I try to keep my pulse on who's being impacted right here in Newmarket, Aurora, because we do have a very large manufacturing sector of auto parts who are being impacted. So it's important for me to be out there communicating with them. In fact, I'm very excited about 2026. I'll be announcing three great investments through the Ministry of Economic Development for three local businesses. So stay tuned for that one. But also, I want to give a shout out to Neighbor Media because you've allowed me to host a couple of roundtables in 2025 here at your offices. So thank you very much because you have such an inclusive space that you provide. And one of them was on the skilled trades, having local businesses here talking about that because it's important for me to be able to go back to Queen's Park and inform them of what other needs do we have locally for skilled trades. And that helps inform how can we make the skilled trades training stream, this fund, even better than what it is today. Also, I was proud to have the Minister of Citizenship and Multiculturalism right here at Neighbor Media, and we had invited the Aurora Black Caucus, NACA. We had the Muslim Ahmadiyya Association here as well. We had Rabbi Mende here as well, and really talking about from a multicultural cultural perspective, what are our needs? What are the asks? What do they see that our government could be doing to further support them and ensure that we have safe spaces for people to worship? So once again, thank you, Neighbor, for allowing me to utilize your space to bring these people in and have those conversations.
yes, of course, and we'd love to have you here. And we touched a lot, and I even know that there's a bunch of other things that happen throughout the year too, but it's almost really too many things. You're
Yes.
extremely busy of everything that you do. But as we close this up, like what kind of message you want to leave the residents of Newmarket, Aurora, as we head into 2026? Just some closing thoughts on to the residents of Newmarket and Aurora.
Well, a couple of things. First off, I have to give a shout out to our nonprofit organizations, and that's something I don't think I've done enough to talk about them here. But people like organizations like Girls Inc., Social Enterprise of Canada, to CARE. There's so many different ones. Women's Center of York Region, Women's Support Network of York Region. I'm just throwing names out here. These are all organizations who do such great work day in and day out in our community who have received some funding from the government. So shout out to them. Thank you for what you do every single day for the residents of Newmarket, Aurora. So closing thoughts. 2026, what I'm looking forward to is continuing my work that I've been doing over this past year. It really, truly is about protecting Ontario. And as I made mention earlier, protecting our workers. That is so important because if we don't protect our workers to ensure that they have jobs with higher paychecks, then what are we doing as a government? That's our top priority, is to ensure that. So everything we are doing is to ensure that people have those paychecks that they can pay for their families, their homes, put a roof over their head. That is so important. And that's my commitment to ensure that I continue to advocate for our local businesses, advocate for a healthier Newmarket Aurora, and that's with our healthcare system right here which includes mental health, of course. And I have to say, to ensure that we have safer spaces for people to worship, for people to live their lives the way that they deserve to right here in Ontario.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for all the work that you do. That's a busy 2025. Can't wait to see what happens in 2026. We're very lucky to have you. Okay. Goodbye.
Thank you.